If a tree falls in a forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a sound? Logically, it does, but technically it doesn't, because vibration must be heard for it to translate to sound. As you can see, when the drumsticks hit the drum head, it vibrates, sending waves through the air. When the air waves reach your eardrum, your brain translates the vibration to a sound. This is a wavelength. This is a visual representation of a lone vibration passing through the air. When several wavelengths are joined together, it creates a waveform. The waveform size depends on the volume of the sound. The louder the sound, the bigger the waveform. This is called amplitude. The more waves in an amount of time, the higher the frequency. Now we can talk about the sound that's being created. If you were a sound designer working on a video game, you would probably receive something that looked like this. As you can tell, all the visual elements are there, but it somehow seems a lot less interesting. This is because there is no sound. As a sound designer, it would be your job to find the areas that require sound. This would include footsteps, guns, voices and other natural sounds. But what if you're unable to record the actual sound? For example, the sound of breaking bones. The sounds would have to be created from scratch with a technique known as Foley. Foley is the mimicking of an actual sound using a variety of props and instruments within a controlled environment. This technique was first used by Jack Foley in 1927. Over the years, the art has adapted and evolved in many ways. Our original problem was that we needed the sounds of bones breaking. After many tests and experiments, Foley has shown us that this sound can be mimicked by breaking celery stalks. Once all sounds have been recorded and placed into the game engine, our once uninteresting video game should look a little something like this.
Good.
As you can tell, the video game has been improved on greatly, but there is still something missing. That something is mood. 10% of the mood is in the visuals, but 90% of the mood is in the sounds. And the majority of that mood is through the music. There are several genres of music used in video games in the modern day. But in the past, video game music was limited to a certain range of sounds. When put together rhythmically, it creates music. However, as technology has progressed over time, it has become possible to record full orchestras and implement the music created, making a more beautiful sound and overall a more in-depth mood. Be warned, if the wrong mood is portrayed or the music does not complement the visuals, The resulting mess could destroy any hope of making your game an enjoyable experience. A good game with a bad soundtrack will never sell well. Here's an example. As was obvious from the start, this serious wargame has been made into a mockery, and you, the sound designer, will have been fired. Bye-bye. However, if you successfully create a soundtrack which complements the mood, then your video game should look a little something like this. Congratulations, your video game has now been sold successfully. You are now a rich man. Looks like my job here is done.